Mr. Kucinich, I was extremely disappointed to learn that you are drafting legislation to ban private ownership of handguns.
What are your thoughts about the right of people to be armed, the average citizen?
You know what, I think if everybody was armed, there would be less crime. I really do. I mean, if I'm a robber, I think that you might have a gun. I'm going to think twice about coming up and approaching you in a dark alley or on the street or wherever the hell you might be.
You know what I'm saying? I've been on this motherfucker street for 10 motherfucking years strong, you know what I'm saying? Trying to LA rolling 6 out this motherfucker. I've been gangbanging, killing, rock motherfucker, selling crack, got my holes in the back. I don't give a fuck about nobody this motherfucker. At any given moment, I can go out here and fuck up any goddamn body this motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying? I hear motherfuckers, nigga, LA style, nigga, we take them over the count if I wanted to. It's straight gangsta on this motherfucker.
Or taking your car from you at an intersection.
Our leaders are so busy selling us out. Listen when the home shows. Stop your sleeping and trembling on our Constitution. So now let them face their own revolution. The NAU is a regional arrangement that leads to America's from our founder's vision of freedom for all. If that baby gets through, this country will fall.
I'm going to stop and think twice about that before I do that. We've got bold criminals that'll walk right up to your driver's side window and point a gun at you and tell you to get the hell out of your car and jump in your car and drive it away. I don't think these people would be that bold if they felt that maybe this guy might be armed. If everybody had the right to carry a firearm in America, of course we would sort out and weed out the nuts, the criminals, the drug addicts. We would never let them buy weapons. We're supposedly, that's what our system does today. They have this ridiculous thing that you have to fill out every time you buy a handgun. It's just totally ridiculous.
The only obvious immediate solution to the equation bad man with gun versus innocent civilian is good man with gun, a fact the anti-gun crowd just can't seem to comprehend. Eradicating firearms from society would work about as well as it did with alcohol and marijuana, which means that bad men will always have access to guns, period. So what about good men? Why would any sane person want to disarm them? There was a time in this country when packing heat was as common as packing lunch. Not only would our ancestors have been outraged at the notion of having to seek permission from their government to own guns, but often the government itself was outraged by those who didn't own guns. States like Virginia would prosecute men for failing to carry a firearm at all times, with particular mandates to make sure guns were brought to church. When an aide to newly elected Democratic Senator Jim Webb got busted for having a loaded pistol in his briefcase while entering the Senate last week, I could not help but smile. That a tobacco-chewing Virginia boy like Webb had random guns at his disposal, even in the U.S. Senate, wouldn't have been the least bit strange to his forefathers. Indeed, they would have found it strange that his colleagues didn't. Our ancestors would also find it strange that a man like Gary Douglas, who killed the 2 Monks Corner police officers, hadn't been run out of town or executed after an armed standoff with police in 1995. They would have found it strange that a 22-year-old woman like Clara Riddles could be drugged through the modern equivalent of Town Square and murdered in cold blood without anyone trying to stop it. Or as essayist Bob Allen writes of the incident in Atlanta, quote, "There was a time when a majority of American men would almost surely have come to Clara's aid. It was a day when men, recognizing the reality of evil, carried weapons that enabled them to stand in the gap for those being unjustly tormented and threatened. Virtually any man on the street could come to the aid of a victim like Clara, but that was then and this is now. And indeed it is." The wildest thing about the so-called Wild West was how quick someone would be dealt with by the authorities or his neighbors for the slightest indiscretion. While today, murderers are sent to psychologists who track the mental progress of their patients as they resettle in gun-controlled cities like Detroit and Washington, D.C. Of course, it is not the 18th, 19th, or even 20th century anymore, but the 21st isn't looking any less violent so long as bad men are given ample opportunity to do their worst, and good men aren't being encouraged or even allowed to be.
Now there's only one to vote for. Don't give him no lip. Ron Paul. Vote Ron Paul. Ron Paul. Restore the Constitution, the voters yell, and save us from this neocon hell. Only one man can do it this time, y'all. Everyone should know that it's time to vote for Ron Paul. Vote Ron Paul. Ron Paul. May the Antichrist be thrown in that old fire pit. We'll just place a marble stand in front of it. These few words are written on that stand. The only man who stood up was a big, big man, Ron Paul. Vote Ron Paul.